Alright guys, so over the last few days, I've been on Nexus Mods having a look at the latest mods that have been released for Manor Lords, and there are loads of amazing mods, guys. I couldn't believe my eyes. People are still making mods for Manor Lords, even though it's, constantly updated. There's something new always coming out here. I really like it. And of course, there is a mod manager now as well. So if you're gonna play with mods, definitely use a mod manager. It's highly recommended, really easy to install if you want to manage your load order, find out what's not working, what's not compatible, etc. This is so important. So definitely get the mod manager, and I found 17 mods essentially that you should use, or you should definitely check out at least to see if it works and you like it in your gameplay. So the first 3 mods I'm going to talk about here are goat farming, pig farming, and chicken farming mod. These are really cool. It basically extends the feature that you get now with the latest update to Manor Lords that allows you to get pens for these animals. You import the animals in, they produce a certain amount every 6 months. So if you have, a goat pen and you get 2 goats imported in, that's going to give you 2 meat, 2 leather every 6 months. What these mods do is actually let you utilize the sheep breeding development point to actually breed these animals in your pens. So, if you have a big pen over a large plot and you import, say, 3 or 4 goats into that pen, then every month there's a chance you're going to get a new goat. It's going to breed, and maybe, over a year you get 12 new goats. Suddenly you're making 14 meat and 14 leather every 6 months, and you've got like 15 of those every 6 months. That's a lot going on, for a single region. So these are some really interesting, cool mods. I'd highly recommend you check them out. And then we've got Grow More Berry Bush, which, I don't know, I think it's very hit or miss. I've tried it. There are, playthroughs where berries are, replenishing really quickly, and I can gather a lot of them, and it really props up my food economy, right? But then I have other playthroughs where berry production is really slow, and it's not replenishing very quickly. So this is a bit hit or miss, but I really do like it in terms of, it really does push up your berry production quite a bit. It allows you to create a berry economy, basically, where you can start exporting them, trading them with other regions. At the moment in the base game, I can't trade berries with any other region. So this allows you to do that, essentially, which I really like. And it's kind of hand in hand with the next one as well, Fish Trapping Mod, which basically bumps up the kind of a threshold for the amount of fish you can have in a rich shoal of fish, essentially. So again, kind of going into the food production side of the game, these mods are really important, I think, just to elevate the kind of food production that you can get, how much you can support through your economy and to your population. And the final one here is Hunters, the meat overhaul. I've tried it. It's supposed to be outdated, but it actually isn't. It does work, and it's quite good. Again, like the others, this is about creating a food economy. So if you want something that really lends itself towards generating loads of meat and loads of leather as well, pelt per carcass goes from 1 to 5, right? So this is really a really overpowered mod for meat production. If that's something you're looking for, you want loads of meat so you can support, sausages and having that kind of an economy for your town building and your playthroughs, and this is definitely a solid mod to try out. Highly recommend it. And then the next few mods are a bit more kind of town management, quality of life. I really like these mods. So Distribute Pasture basically is a more effective means of distributing your goats and other animals across fallow fields and pasture, which is really cool. Right now, I think it's a bit sporadic and kind of not very kind of distributed evenly. So this is definitely a nice one to have. And then we've got Spend Influence for development points, which I really like, especially if you're, expanding into other regions. You've got loads of excess influence because you've got tithe and you're contributing to the church and etc. Like, this is such a cool little mod to have, just to be able to use influence in a different way other than claiming for regions. So this is really nice. Highly recommend this one. Kind of hand in hand with Share Region Development mod here as well. And this, like it says, it's basically, you can actually, if you don't want to have single region development kind of structure, you can actually share development across regions. So this is an interesting way of approaching development as well. And then the last one on this, or the last couple actually, is we've got Divine Blessing here, which I've tried tried out. I quite like it. I know that some people don't, but I think it does make a good, interesting difference to things like passive influence gain. You know, the more people are active in your region, the more families you have, the more churches you have as well, the more passive influence you gain. It kind of helps you stabilize foreign supplies, so trading prices are a bit more easy to maintain the more churches you have as well. Less mourning period, less drought period. So that's kind of what having churches, active churches, allow you to have. You know, at the moment, having someone assigned to a church doesn't make too much of a difference, other than, you know, you needing to go and collect corpses and bury them, basically. But this way, there's a bit more utility to having your church, and multiple churches as well. The more churches you have, some of these effects grow. So this is a really nice one to have. And then finally, I just want to talk about refugees. Now, this is really cool. It's a bit more Frostpunky in terms of the gameplay differences, the changes here, but actually, I quite like it. It just makes a bit more of a difference in terms of challenges for what you're going through as you're growing your town. Every now and then, you're going to have refugees that come in and ask for shelter, and they come in big numbers as well, so you're going to have to really kind of move things around, make sure you can build houses quickly enough to house them, otherwise public order, you know, stuff like that. So this is a really, really interesting, cool mod that I like. And, you know, I think hand in hand, what could go with this, develop this even further, is if refugees you turn away turn into bandit camps or sudden bandit attacks because they got all angry, they found some weapons somewhere and decided to take revenge on you. Like, that could be really, really cool as a new way to develop this as well. And then the last few mods here are about the battle aspect of Manor Lords. There's plenty of stuff that can be done for warfare. It's very early days, I think, from a developmental perspective for the game. You know, balancing is still a bit off, especially archers and crossbowmen. I really don't like where they're at right now. Melee combat, you know, how morale, fatigue works, different types of equipment, unit kind of positioning, formations, like all of that still has a ways to go, I think, compared to the rest of the game. But the mods I've picked out here hopefully will help you enjoy the battles a bit more and provide a bit of challenge. So adaptive Baron difficulty and adaptive Bandits difficulty, these two mods essentially make the battles very different depending on the size of your town, how much wealth you have, the size of your army, how many regions you control, how many years have passed. Like, it all kind of depends on these 4 factors. And, you know, basically what I'm describing is if you've just started a playthrough, it's been 2 years, you've only got your retinue, you've got 1 region, 0 wealth or whatever, like the army that you're going to come across is probably only going to be 1 or 2 units, right? But the later into the game you go, the bigger your town, the bigger your army, the bigger the enemy opposition is going to be. So it's quite adaptive and it's quite challenging. I really, really like this approach to the difficulty aspect of battles for Manor Lords. So highly recommend you try these 2 mods out. Kind of hand in hand on the bandit side of things, Dynamic Bandit is quite a good mod to try out as well. It basically, what it does is it enables a bandit camp to send a raider unit essentially every year if it's not cleared. And yeah, there are various factors that play into that, but essentially it just makes bandit camp spawning a bit more kind of dynamic. It makes raiders coming after you a bit more frequent. So you constantly essentially have to be on your toes to look out for those raiders, where they're going to come from. The directions are a bit more dynamic as well. Lots of really good stuff, I think, with this mod and how you engage bandits, essentially. The next one is unlock Militia Limit. Now, this is an obvious one, of course, you know, kind of working with the adaptive mods we just went through. The more militia you have, the bigger army, the bigger the army that you have, as you can see here, the more kind of a proper total war battle you're going to have, which I quite like. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do when you've unlocked Militia Limit, when you've increased your garrison limit as well, when you've got retinue upkeep, that makes it a bit more interesting and challenging. Yeah, all of these mods basically kind of elevate the kind of army that you can recruit and maintain, and then that all kind of leads into the battles that you might fight as well, right? And then finally, guys, I was looking through the mods to find one that actually affects archers and crossbowmen. A lot of them are out of date now, but this one I found actually works. So, better archers, crossbowmen, X5 damage, X2 range, pre-release. It does say pre-release 0.8.002, but it does work for the latest patch 0.8.004. So this is the one that I recommend. It does have a pretty good effectiveness in terms of using your archers and crossbowmen in battles actually makes sense now. Crossbowmen are quite powerful, but with this, I like them even more. And with archers, obviously, as well, it makes a much bigger difference. I wasn't using archers at all, but now I actually do. So yes, this is the last mod. Highly recommend it. Definitely get it downloaded if you want to use archers and crossbowmen in your battle gameplay. And that's essentially it for today, guys. These are the mods that I picked out, the ones that I think are the most kind of interesting at the moment, especially with the latest version of the game. There are plenty of great mods, other mods out there that I haven't mentioned, but I think these are the ones that make the most sense. I've really been enjoying them the last few days, getting them into the mod manager as well. Highly recommend it. And of course, I'm just going to kind of end this video with, you know, Manor Lords is still being updated every few months. So in the next update, a lot of these might get outdated. Some of them will need updating. You know, there's plenty of things that will go wrong with these mods when the game gets updated. So just keep that in mind. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. Any issues you're having downloading and installing mods, getting them running, etc. I'll try and help you out. And subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.